Today marks International Workers' Day. The day is used to honour the contribution of working class men and women across the globe. To elaborate a little bit more on this, we're now joined on the line by Thobile Lamati, who is the Director General at the Department of Labour. Thanks so much indeed for joining us. A big day for your department and for the country's workers.
Yes, thank you, Peter, and thanks for having me. Yes, it is a big day, which is worth being celebrated, yes.
So how important is Workers' Day? You know, I sometimes get a feeling that people just look at it as a public holiday and don't really appreciate what it means.
It's actually very, very important, Peter, because you would know that workers in this country struggled to get their rights to be recognized, and after 1994, we had their rights enshrined in the Constitution. So we're probably one of the few countries that have these rights in the Constitution, and even the right to strike, in our case, is in the Constitution. So we've moved quite a lot in making sure that our labor market policies reflect the aspirations of the workers, but also reflect the views of the employers. As you know, that our labor market policies are a product of a consultative process. So we're now talking about the national minimum wage, which for the first time will ensure that nobody is paid below 20 rands an hour, which is a milestone. Is it enough? It's not. There's quite a lot of work that we need to do. We amended employment equity. If employees now have a right to go to the CCMA and argue that they are paid, unfairly for the work that is equal to or equivalent to what the other colleague is doing. So the equal pay for equal value provision is in the law. So quite a lot of work that we're doing. We're addressing the issue of the atypical forms of employment. I'm sure you know about the story about Uber workers, the loud-hailing kind of a job. So the platforms that people are using to attract employees. So it's quite a difficult time for the Department of Labour. It's a difficult time for unions, a difficult time for employees, because frankly, things are not the same. So we're talking about the fourth industrial revolution, the impact that will have on the ability of unions to recruit, and also the reality that some jobs are going to perish, but new ones are going to come up.
All right. But there are some things that you could have impacted more on over the years. Let's talk about transformation in the workplace. That continues to be an issue. Why has this been a challenge, and why is there still so much to be done?
Well, South Africa is a unique country in the sense that whatever happens in the workplace is informed by our past. So I hear people sometimes arguing that we need to look at what other countries are doing. In a way, they assuming that South Africa is a homogeneous country, and we're not. So it's going to take us some time. Firstly, we need to all acknowledge that we're South Africans and we need to transform. Without all of us acknowledging that whatever policies that we have are going to take time to have an impact, because even though we have penalties that are attached to any transgression, employers are just willing to pay those penalties, and they carry on with their work. So it's a daunting task, and it requires both government, workers, and business owners to work together to make sure that everybody participates in the economy of this country.
And you talk about things like national minimum wage, and these are good developments for those that are working. But sadly, there's so many that aren't. How do we embrace the unemployed on Workers' Day?
We have, our unemployment rate in the country is huge. And that is why in the development of our labor market policies, we are mindful of the fact that our policies should not be a hindrance to companies to create jobs. So we, as a department, for instance, we have quite a number of other policy interventions that we have that seek to protect and also assist companies, for instance, on the training layoff scheme. When companies are in distress, we work with them to make sure that they don't have the burden of having to pay salaries up until they back on their feet. So those are the policy initiatives that we have. Besides that, the government has come up with what we call youth employment services, where we saying to companies, take these young people, give them experience, and also those that are able to absorb them, they must be absorbed. And also, government has actually extended the duration of both the learnerships and also the internships. Instead of being 12 months now, they are 24 months, to be able to give young people more time on the job. But Peter, for us to address the issue of unemployment, our economy has to grow, and our economy has not been growing at a rate that is able to absorb, and so that we can get people in employment. So there are a number of things that we have to do right. We have to make sure that the sectors that are able to absorb people, sectors like manufacturing and agriculture, if we can get those sectors up to where they're supposed to be, then we will have jobs created.
Mr. Lamati, we wish you the best of luck and a good rest of the day in terms of Workers' Day. Thank you so much for joining us on this day. That was Thobile Lamati, who's the Director General at the Department of Labour. We're going to take a